Hey, mathematicians. So I will go through this Unit 3 post review with you just in case you want to go through it with me. You don't have to, you can try it on your own. Um, and we will be taking the assessment early this week when you come back to school. So this is an ed puzzle if you just want to work on it with Mr. Mac before you come back. So as you go through this, here, let me go into preview mode so it's a little easier to see. This is what it'll look like. It says begin with your name, last name first. So you'll put your name, so your last name first. Jeremy for me. Okay. Did you do that? Good. Okay, so number one says write this decimal as a decimal number. So we're going to write this as an actual number 347 thousandths. So I don't see any whole numbers. It's just 347 thousandths. So there's no whole numbers. And then zoom in a little bit here. Okay, here we go. So no whole numbers. There's no and, right? It's just 347 thousandths. So we simply write 347 thousandths. Okay. Number two, write out the number names for this decimal number. So if you can say it, you can write it, remember. So we have 6 and 25 thousandths. The 5 ends up in the thousandths place. So how we write that out is 6 and 20. I like to put a little dash there between the 20 and the 5. 25. Then we can't forget what place value. So remember when we write any like hundredths or tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, you just write out the whole number first, thousand, and then put a THS on the end. That's that sound. 6 and 25 thousandths. There's nothing in the tenths place, so we don't even need to worry about it. We just say the 25, okay? And then it ends up in the thousandths place. Okay, write the expanded form of this decimal. I don't know why there's all those dashes, but there is. 6 and 25 thousandths. Oh my gosh, they gave us the answer right there. Look at that, 6 and 25 thousandths. So the expanded form is what we practiced last week, where we write 6. We're adding each place value to the number before it. So we have 6 wholes. We have no tenths. Remember, we have 0 tenths, so we don't need to even worry about it. The next place value is the 20, and the 2 or the 20 is in the hundredths place. So how we write that is 2 hundredths, 2 slash 100, 2 over 100, plus our 5 thousandths. So we write that as 5 over 1,000. I'm not putting a comma in there, Clark. Okay, so 6 plus 2 hundredths plus 5 thousandths. That's all we have to do. We're done with that one. Okay, so the next one. Choose the correct symbol below to these numbers. So we're seeing which numbers are greater than, less than, or equal to. So we have 35 hundredths and 8 tenths. And remember, we can rewrite 8 tenths as 80 hundredths. Can I always get nervous using this. So 8 tenths, that's really thick, is the same as saying 80 hundredths. And the reason why I'm writing that out is so I can see 35 goes to the hundredths. And so now I can see that 80 hundredths, which is the same as saying 80 cents, is greater than 35 cents or 35 hundredths. So 35 hundredths is less than 8 tenths. So the correct symbol would be that one. And I think you can just click it in there. Yeah. So 35 hundredths is less than 8 tenths. So 8 tenths is greater than. Choose the correct symbol below for these numbers. 301 thousandths and 380 thousandths. Well, this one they have the same amount of numbers, so I can just look at 301, 380. 301 is less than 380. Same symbol as last time. Let me erase my... Can I erase this stuff? Come on. It's not letting me erase for some reason. Darn. What's that mean? Okay, we might have to just have these blue marks now. Doggone it. All right, sorry about that. That's annoying. Okay. Choose, they're just going to follow me. Choose the correct order of these decimals if they were placed on a number line from least to greatest. So remember, that's what you have to look for, least to greatest. So we have 34 thousandths, 304, 403, 934 thousandths. Actually, that looks good already, doesn't it? 34, 304, 403, 934. Let's just double check. 304, 403, 934. Oh, 34. That's less. 34, 403, 304. So the only one that will work is this first one if we just go in order, least to greatest. Okay. Wow, man, that's annoying. I am so sorry about that. Gosh. Okay. Anyways, round this number to the nearest tenth. We've worked a lot on rounding. So the nearest tenth is the 9. That's the tenth. So we have to look at the 0 to figure out what to do with the 9. And since the hundredths place is a 0, that's less than 5. So the 9 just stays the same. So really, it would be just 7 and 9 hundredths. So all the 0 stays the 0 and the 2 changes to a 0. So 7 and 9 hundredths. Okay, round this number to the nearest hundredth. So the hundredth in this number in 28 and 375 thousandths. The hundredth in this number is the 7. So we're going to look at the 5 in the thousandths place to determine what we do with that 7. 5 is 5 or greater, so the 7 bumps up 1. So it becomes 38. So our answer would be 28 and 38 hundredths, or 28 and 380 thousandths. So that 5 changes to a 0. Okay, round this number to the nearest whole number, or 1. 7 and 902 thousandths. So we're looking at the 7, that's our whole number. So we look at the tenths place to tell us what to do, which is a 9. 9 is greater than 5, bumps the 7 up to an 8. So it'd be this last one over here. All right, we're moving on. So that's an 8. Find the answer to this problem, write out your work to show how you solve this problem, and name the strategy you use to solve it. So don't worry about the strategy. We're just going to write out the problem, and I'm really nervous about writing it out since I can't erase for whatever reason, but I'm going to write it out anyway, and we're just going to have to deal with it, I think. So 3, and I'm going to write it over here in the margin. 3 and 98 hundredths plus 4 and 77 hundredths. So I'm lining up that decimal and adding it up. So 8 plus 7 is 15, carry my 1. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 plus 7 is 17, carry my 1. Decimal just brings it on down to the, just bring on that decimal, line it up. And then 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. So 8 and 75 hundredths. So you just type that in, 8.75 or 8 and 75 hundredths. Yep, it's staying over there. Great. And that dot. Find the answer to this problem, write it out. So we're going to do the same thing except for we're subtracting. So 8 and 75, let's do a little different color. So we're taking the answer for this one, aren't we? 8 and 75 hundredths and taking away 5 and 4 tenths. So this is one of those where you have to make sure the decimal is lined up. And whenever you have a blank space, you can just put a 0. And we're subtracting. A lot of us like to add when it's actually asking to subtract. 5 minus 0, 5. 7 minus 4 is 3. Decimal just comes on down. 8 minus 5 is 3. 3 and 35 hundredths. Just going to type that in. Okay. Find the sum. Moving on. Remember, sum just means the answer to an addition problem. So we're just going to add these up. So let's see. I think I can do this. Let's see. 4 plus 3 is 7. 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. So I'm going to write this out as 13 point. Oh, sorry. So 4 plus 3 is 7. 2 plus 6 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 13. 138 and 7 tenths. Let's just double check that, shall we? I'm going to do it on this side here. 82, which I would want you to do too. and 56.3. 7, decimal comes down, 8, and 8 plus 5 is 13. 138 and 7/10. That's what we got. Okay, double checking that. All right, find the difference. That's the answer to, or the difference is, yeah, the answer to a subtraction problem. So 4, well, I'm not going to do this one in my head. We'll put this one on paper. 4 and 3/100 minus 1 and 70/100 or 7/10. Okay, we can do 3 minus 0, right? That's 3. Cannot take 7 away from 0, so I need to borrow 1 from the, or regroup 1 from the 4. So the 4 becomes a 3. The 0 becomes a 10. Now I can subtract 10 minus 7. That's a 3. Decimal comes down. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 and 33/100. Okay. All right, so we have 3 more. 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. Okay, so a gram is 1,000 milligrams. 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. How many grams is 784 kilograms? So how many grams is 784 kilograms? So there's 1,000 grams in a kilogram. So this is basically all we need to know right now, right? Because we're just going from grams to kilograms. So this is the power of the power of the 10. So what we're doing is multiplying 784 times 1,000. Okay, 784 times 1,000. So just like we practiced in class, we're going to write 784. We're multiplying that by 1,000. We just have 1, 2, 3 decimals because of the, zeros, excuse me, because the decimal moves over 1, 2, 3 places. So there are 784,000 grams. I'm going to put a G at the end of that number. No necking numbers. 784,000 grams in 1 kilogram. In 784 kilograms. Okay, that's a lot. All right. So if there's 1 gram and same thing, 1 gram and 1,000 milligrams, 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams, 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. How many kilograms is 34 grams? So how many kilograms? So we're going backwards on this one. So if we know that we have the number 34 and we're dividing now by 1,000, okay? So because the number is smaller. So if it's the same concept, still 3 zeros, but we have, this number is going to be super small. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 34 10,000ths. Let's see. 34 divided by 1,000. So we're getting smaller, not bigger on this one, but it's the same concept, right? So I think I've added 2. Let's see. 1, 2, 34. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So I'm just moving the decimal. If the decimal, there's an invisible decimal at the end of 34, and I'm going to move that to the left 3 spaces because it's divided by 1,000. We have 3 zeros. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. So the answer is 34 thousandths. There are 34 thousandths of a gram. No, excuse me, 34 thousandths of a kilogram in 1 gram. It's super small. Okay, last one. It's a division problem. The 6th graders are going to spend a week at outdoor camp. In all, there are 223 kids and adults. Okay, so 223 people. And they're traveling to the camp in minivans. If each minivan can carry 12 passengers, got it, how many minivans will they need to get everyone there at the same time? Use numbers in words to explain how you solve the problem. Write an expression to match this problem. Be sure to solve the problem. Okay, so the expression, remember, is a number sentence without an answer. So there's our expression, 223 divided by 12. So we have 223 kids. We want to divide, and adults. We want to divide them by the 12 passengers in a van. Okay, now I am running out of room here. So the way I'm going to do this is do this with our hangman strategy. And unfortunately, it is going to be very sloppy, and I am sorry about that. I'm going to change color so I don't get confused over here. So I'm going to divide 223 by 12. So I'm going to start off by multiplying 12 times 10. I'm going to dwindle this number down, okay? So 12 times 10 is 120. I'm going to take that away from my 223. So right now I'm at 10 vans. 3 minus 0 is 3. 2 minus 2 is 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay, so now I'm at 103 kids. So I started with 223. Now I've got 10 vans, and I've got 120 kids in. So now I'm left with 103 kids. Okay. So you guys know my favorite, one of my favorite numbers is 10. Half of 10 is 5. So if I know that 12 times 10 is 120, I can't do another 10 vans because that's above the amount of kids I have. So I'm going to do 5 on this one, which is half of 10, right? So 12 times 10 is 120. 12 times 5 is half of 120. That would be 60. So 12 times 5 is 60. All right, we're getting smaller and smaller here. 3 minus 0 is 3. I can't take 6 from 0, so I need to change that to a 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. Okay, now I'm left with 43 kids. So far I have 15 vans that can carry a total of, what is that, 180 kids so far, and I'm left with 43 kids. All right, so I know my multiplication facts, and I know that 12 times 4 is 48. That's too big. So I'm going to do 12 times 3, which is 36. Looks like I'm going to have a remainder. I'm going to have some kids left over. Okay, I can't take 6 minus 3, so I have to change that. Sorry for so sloppy. 3 to a 13. So 13 minus 6, 7. So 7. And then 3 minus 3 is nothing. All right, so I have 7 kids left over. Okay. I have 7 children left over. So the amount of vans that I need to carry my kiddos is 10 plus 5 plus 3. 10 plus 5 is 15, plus 3 is 18. So I need 18 vans to carry the bulk of the children, but then I have 7 kids left over. So I have a remainder of 7. So what should we do? Oh, I think we should order another van for these kiddos, these 7. They're going to get a lot more room, but we just can't leave them behind. So the answer to 223 divided by 12 is 18 with a remainder of 7. Okay, that's what I'm putting down here at the bottom. But the question is, how many minivans will we need? Well, we need one more minivan, don't we, to accommodate for those 7 kids. So we will need 18 plus 1, which is 19 minivans, okay? So we really will need 19 minivans to carry these 7 kids. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. Good luck with the review. We'll work on this in class if we have questions before we take our test this week, okay? All right, good job.